Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Thank you for being here. This is another short Q&A, couple of questions, couple of answers. But I did want to make this one, even though it's a quick, short one, because there's a couple of important questions that are repetitive. They come up every now and again, and I feel like I need to address them to everyone, because it's probably something that's crossed our minds. The first one is on this idea of eternity. We talk about impermanence, basic rules of Buddhism or thoughts of Buddhism, right? Everything is transient. Nothing is permanent. This is part of our samsaric dis-ease, right? Is that we're constantly trying to make everything permanent. And that's the basis of attachment and suffering. The truth is everything we experience in life is forms and manifests, exists for a while, decays, and then is gone. Life is this way, computers are this way, everything is this way, the universe is this way, right? We know this. Intellectually we know this, but samsarically we don't think that way. We just want to possess things, and when we try to possess things, we make them permanent, right? We don't expect change. Even in relationships, causes endless problems, because we have one thought we start with, and then if it gets confronted enough times, we're like, whoa, what the heck's going on, right? So, yes, nothing is permanent. And then somebody says, well, what about Buddha nature? What about the Buddha is, quote, eternal? All right. Very confusing. You're right to ask. So this is a fundamental problem of culture, translation, something I talk about every now and again, about how information mutates into different meanings depending on the language you speak, the culture you live in, the time we live in, right? So what is meant by that? Because you're going to run into that, eternal Buddha, right? What is meant by that is that Buddha, and I'll reinforce this again, because all of Buddhism teaches this, but it's a conflicting idea. Buddha is a life condition, a mental condition. And if it's a mental condition and a life condition, it follows that it only exists while you have a mind in which to experience it. So obviously, your Buddha life condition will only exist while you have a conscious mind. This is why Buddhism is a practice for the living and how to live well, right? So this idea of eternal Buddha is simply that the life process that you and I are experiencing right now isn't unique to you and I. You see, this is a problem of self, ego, identity. This is part of the problem of our suffering in samsara, is everything relates to this idea of me, right? We can't get rid of that because that's our life. What we can do, though, is lift our mental cognition, our perception of this process of life that we are experiencing as our little bubble here, and see it as the bubble that it is. Understand that it is not about me. It is about this experience in this body with this mind and consciousness that I'm having as integrated, not separate from the entirety of life. And if you're going to go that step, then you have to follow and say, well, that life process isn't mine, me. That life process extends throughout all of time. And what is all of time? It is the space of this universe, because we know this from science, physics, and our actual experience. There's a beginning to this universe, there's a middle, and there will be an end. Oh, That's Buddhist too, isn't it? The universe arises, it exists, it expands until it decays, and then it is no more. Even this universe that contains this whole life force is temporary. So the word eternal in this context simply means that the life that you're experiencing right now, for you, Jane, Bob, Betty, Sylvain, Jack, whatever, I don't speak too many other languages, Francais if you want, but or Juan and Juanita, whatever your label is, it's a temporary thing. But that which you experience goes beyond your brief manifestation. It goes beyond, to you, the duration of it. The duration of life goes well beyond you, backwards and forward. And as I'm fond of interpreting for our benefit to understand what is Buddha-ness and Buddha, it's actually timeless. It doesn't have a clock. There is no time. Buddha-ness is a state from moment to moment that we experience, birth, death, birth, death, birth, death, right? So it has to be constantly instantiated, and it constantly erodes, goes away, because we are in samsara. But you could equate that Buddha-ness with a clarity of understanding of what life itself is, but the two are not the same. Right? So when we say, or when we read eternal, there's nothing mystical or magical here. The idea is that the instantiation of a life condition of Buddha isn't limited to our lifespan. Its observation of the life force exists so long as the life force exists. And now you could extrapolate that, if you want, into theory about multiverses, or like the cyclical universe of Roger Penrose, a great physicist who extrapolates that the universe will expand until everything disassembles into black holes, and then the black holes will radiate away until there's no matter. And when there is no matter, as Roger says, there are no clocks. There's nothing to keep time. It's just photons of energy. And when that happens, the massiveness of the universe becomes a non-mass, because there is no mass. There is only energy. And that is a kind of a grand folding in, if you want, to conceptualize it that way, which is in itself a sequential Big Bang. Starts the expansion again. Matter is instantiated until finally it can no longer exist. And the energy then, without a clock, time, you understand, indicates space. That's why space-time are together. You can't have time without space. You can't have space without time. The two are interrelated. So when there is no time, then there is no space. There's this great collapse. That collapse of all that energy, fiery ball, Big Bang, cyclical universe, over and over and over. So you could say that the life force that is manifest of that energy is eternal, is timeless, because time is irrelevant to it. Follow? And if there is time and there is life, then there is Buddha. But that Buddha is only instantiated in your mind. Buddha-ness is a life condition, a life observation, a mental, perceptive state. I hope that clears up that eternal Buddha Okay, because it is very confusing. All right. Now the second question, and there's only two in this one. I get requests every now and again about, especially those who are starting out. You crave knowledge. You crave. Oh, you get excited and you go, "What should I read? There's so much crap out there, right? Could you give me some guidance on what I should read, where I should be ingesting information that's not tainted, that can help me figure this out for myself?" Well, that's a great question, and usually I answer it in an email. But I think it's a question that, even if it's unasked, all of us might wonder about. So my direction has come. I've tried referring books, and I do this. If you go to the playlist and you look for a playlist about the Lotus Sutra lectures, I used about 5 different translations of the Lotus Sutra to indicate that even though there are polarizing thoughts in each of these translators' versions, the truth, the essential meaning, still comes through, right? But for this question, I've taken to answering in pretty much the same way. I've worked many, many years to assemble my own research on my simple HTML website, threefoldlotus.com. And what you can go there is there's tons of information on that website on all sorts of things, including some martial arts, as pertains to the mental component of the body. But it's a tremendous resource for Buddhism specifically. And at the first page, you will see a link to core study materials, amongst other links. And if you go to that link, that page, it's a list of buttons with labels indicating what the link is to. And most of them are PDFs that you can download, print, study online, however you want to. But there are questions like, what about the beads? 108 beads, what's going on with that? What is Daimoku? What is a Gohonzon? What does it mean to be a Buddhist? What is a Buddhist? And then there's questions like, what are the 3 realms, or the 3,000 realms, or the 10 worlds? Basic building blocks that maybe in a video don't get captured fully, or you have just questions about that, because as you read, you'll see a term and you go, what the heck is that about? I've tried, there's about 50 or more buttons on that with all these little subjects that you can click on, get a PDF. Some of them are my writings. Some of them are my collection of informations that are all come together into one kind of a thought. So I've done the research for you. Many of them are my elucidation, but I'll have a lot of quotes either from Nichiren or Shakyamuni and other sutras. So it's a real good resource, and it's a good place to start, because as I always say, study is something that it builds on itself. So when you read something, there's always going to be some term that you go, wait a minute, what's that? And then you can do a little deep dive into that, and you'll learn a lot. You'll get a lot of little insights that will relate to your life. And then you can go back to the other document and go, okay, I understand that now. Oh, that sentence makes sense now, right? That kind of thing. That's how we learn. So I would say that threefoldlotus.com is a really good place for you to start. There's even a complete translation on that site of one of the translations of the Lotus Sutra, chapter by chapter, so you can knock them out as you go. There's translations of, I think there's a PDF of the liturgy, the Gongyo, and then there's links to the bookstore. There's links to go get yourself a Gohonzon if you need one. There's just so much information there. It's a really good starting point. And then having exhausted that, if you need some help as I've also offered, of maybe there's a sutra that you've read long ago and it meant a lot to you and it's something you haven't heard me discuss. Let me know what that is. And if I think, well, if I have the time, which I hope I do, and it's a sutra that I will go find. I will read it. I may have already read it, but I just haven't done any videos about it. Then what I'll do is I'll either discuss it in its entirety, where it is in the scholarship of Buddhism, or I'll take it apart and go chapter by chapter. It's always good to do that, and I'm a big proponent of doing, as Shakyamuni told us, study all of Buddha's scholarship and non-Buddhist. But generally, what I do on this channel is all Buddhist. And if there's a sutra, maybe I haven't heard it, maybe I have it in my collection, I haven't talked about it. Let me know if that interests you, and we'll take it chapter by chapter, and there's always something to learn. If nothing else, we'll learn the consistency of these concepts in Buddhism, but it never hurts to see it from a different perspective with other expedient means, right? So, I hope those two questions are adequately addressed, and I'm going to stop saying and simply bid you a great day, be healthy, and how many more times can we say it? Be kind, especially to me, repeating my This will be the question and answer. I'm not going to say it again. Bye now. Take care.